I feel like a question that's reiterated a lot to athletes in general is like, when you are playing your best and you're in the zone, like, what do you feel? But like, I feel everyone answers the same question of like, it's just happening.
Yeah, you feel nothing.
Yeah, because it's not like a place where you're like, okay, if I do this, and this, I'm gonna get there. It's like, it just happens because you put in the work, because you've believe in yourself, because you know indefinitely. I don't know, like, do you have anything to add to that?
I would say, yeah, it's very hard. Like, I tried, there's a really good book called Flow that came out in like, I don't know, early 90s maybe. And it's someone trying to explain what we're trying to explain here, like being in the zone or that flow state. And even I think he has a hard time really explaining what it is. And I struggled my way through that book because like it gets too, I just think it's something that, yeah, you can't, you know, when you know when you're in it, because you know the feeling, but you never know how to rekindle it. Right. So it's like I can remember the times where I've been in that zone or in that flow, but as you said, it's not just a journey or a checking of boxes of, okay, well, if I do this, then I'll end up in that state. It's like, no, it's a perfect combination of a ton of different things that are, and I think the other thing is you can't get in the flow consciously. You have to get in the flow subconsciously. Exactly. So how do we tap into our subconscious? And that's a very difficult thing to do. People understand the conscious brain very well, but not a lot of people understand the subconscious brain very well.
Yeah, speaking of that, there's this one time I'll never forget when I was playing in college, and it's happened many other times, but I was playing in Puerto Rico at the college event there for Oklahoma State, and I was playing bad. I was like 4 over on the front, and my coach, Mike McGraw, was with me at the time, walking with us, and he's like, usually the coach decides to walk with one player for the tournament. They can't really caddy for them, but just to like help out or watch and evaluate. And he left me after 9. He's like, maybe you just do your own thing and I'll go help someone else. Like, I was playing like shit. And so I think I shot like 8 under on the back, and I came to the last hole and I had like a 60-footer for birdie. And my coach comes over and he's like, how you doing? Any better? I was like, yeah, actually I'm playing a lot better on this side. And I'm like, watch this, I'm going to make this. He's like, all right, let's see it. So I make it, and it was just this ultimate knowing that was the only outcome. Yeah. Has there been times like that for you? And can you explain that? Have you studied the mind in a way to explain how that happens?
So I've had that feeling numerous times in my career where it's, I'm like, I know this is what's going to happen. I know this is going to go in. I know I'm going to hit a great shot. And then you try to figure out, and even in practice sessions, I'll be struggling with my swing, and then I'll hit one, and it's like, yes, I've got it. But I would turn around to my coach, Michael, and be like, why did I know I was going to hit a good shot there? Like, I just knew. So it's a feeling, it's a sense, but again, I think it's there's a lot of what we do on the golf course that is subconscious. So like, yeah, have I delved in hypnosis and tried to like tap into my subconscious brain? Yes, I have. I've tried to do all these things because everyone is so good out there, and how can you get that little edge on people? So, and I've won way more golf tournaments with my mind than I have with my physical ability. Yeah. And, I think that's why Tiger is probably, and Jack are probably the 2 best ever, is because their minds were just so much better than everyone else's. And yeah, it's hard. You don't want to be evaluating your thoughts while you're going either, because that's not a good thing. But I think, I don't know the answer to why you step over a 60-footer and you're going to hole it and it goes in. But I just know that whenever it does happen, it's a really cool feeling.
It's an amazing feeling. Yeah. It's crazy, man, because like, you study that the body is electrical, and we have an aura, or there's a energy field around us. And I feel like the answer that I kind of go towards is that your positivity, if you will, your space that you can get into when those things do happen, it gives you a higher percentage that it's going to happen. But as I said earlier, like, we don't believe there is another outcome. So it's like, how do we tap into the universe? How do we tap into whatever the law of attraction?
Yeah. And think about how many variables on a 60-foot putt.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So many variables.
Spike marks, wind.
Yeah.
Like
anything.
The way the cup is cut.
Yeah. So
it's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. And reaching that flow state that you talk about, I'm sure there's places that you felt it outside of the game of golf too. Yeah. You know, like, I mean, we talked a lot about, you know, meditation and, you know, different areas of your life that you can try to get into flow states. For me, well, for each of us, you're a pilot. I'm learning how to fly right now, surfing. I mean, there's all these different things that when you're in the moment, you're reaching that flow state. But is there other things that you do outside of the game of golf that always bring you into that flow state?
Yeah, there are certain so juggling. Juggling's one of the best things to get into a flow state, because you're not. So it's all like, from things that I've been told, it's all to do with the gray matter in your brain, and juggling is one of those things where you sort of have to concentrate on it, but you sort of don't. So I could be here with 3 balls and look you in the eyes and juggle, and keep a conversation. It's a bit like driving. Yeah. You know, you can be talking to someone on the phone in the car, and you'll be your conscious brain is talking to that person. Yeah. Subconsciously, you're just going where you need to go. And how many times have you ended up at your destination and being like, I forgot how I got here, almost, when you're talking to someone in the car. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So again, it's that, I think, like psychology is very much like conscious thought, conscious mind. But then you've got like neurology and like dabbled in like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and that's all very much subconscious based. So sort of trying to decipher between the two, and how do you, because the stories we tell ourselves too. So the conscious brain can very much affect subconsciously what's going on sure. without our knowledge of it even. Yeah.
Why did you start juggling? Was one of your trainers one of your trainers?
Yeah, one of my trainers said, juggling is a really good thing for your mind. And then I've went from juggling to, I have these, I've got these like 8-sided balls. Mm-hmm. So like I'll have 2, and I'll throw them on the floor, and you never know where they're going to go. It's just like reaction, and you're sort of trying to look at a spot on the floor, and then you're trying to see where they go in your peripheral vision rather than actually looking for them. Mm-hmm. So it's just a way of, again, it's trying to get into one of those flow states.
Do you do them both at the same time?
Yeah.
And there's
which is great,
What are those called?
The cue balls.
Cue balls. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get those.
Yeah. They're like green and yellow.
I love little things like that.
Yeah.